Hi everyone. I just wanted to come on here to explain a little bit about why I've been away from YouTube for so long. I know that I don't really have many followers, but actually YouTube means quite a lot to me. I really enjoy making videos for my own benefit. It's something I do as a bit of a passion rather than actually for any followers. So although I don't really have many people who watch my videos, it's been a real shame for me to not be able to do as many videos as I would like to do lately. Making videos has been a bit of a hobby of mine really since COVID. I feel like it's been a sort of creative outlet for me that I can kind of learn and find new ways of doing things, and it just really gives me a positive experience overall. So it's one of those things that I've really just loved doing, and it's given me a real joy in life. So it's been really hard, as I say, to not be kind of doing as many videos and to take a step back from it. But I kind of wanted to come on here and explain why that would be. The reason I've had to stop is mainly due to all of the care issues that I've been facing recently. I've had a really tough time in my life with lots of problems coming from my care and my care agency in particular. Unfortunately, the agency that I was with basically put in lots of barriers that meant I could no longer do most of my activities. A lot of the things I would film and want to put on here and share with people, I was no longer really able to do. And it was also just taking away all my energy having to deal with all the issues that I was facing, just trying to live my life on a daily basis. For those that might not be aware, I have 24-hour care because of a spinal cord injury that I suffered in 2009. It left me paralysed from the neck down and with no use of my fingers. So for that reason, I kind of have to have someone who lives with me to kind of help me support me in daily life. However, as part of that, they should be allowing me to be independent as possible. However, that has not been the case for quite a while now. For those that have watched some of the other videos, I did discuss this quite a lot in my Kilimanjaro video, that they were causing me a lot of problems in the lead up to that Kilimanjaro project. Unfortunately, they were trying to make my life very difficult in the lead up, causing problems where there shouldn't really have been problems, and even causing me issues when I was on the mountain, which I just thought was unacceptable, but it led to the position that we were kind of in today. The problems I've been facing have led to me stopping doing my comedy, my wheelchair rugby, and recently the PA started even complaining about taking me to watch the football, which I just thought was completely ridiculous. And yet again, the agency did nothing to kind of counter that. They sort of sided with the PAs, and it just left me feeling like I couldn't do any of my activities or do the things that I wanted to do in life. So I ended up having to take a step back until I could kind of sort out a solution. It felt like every time I tried to sort of push back, new rules were created that put more barriers in my way, such as, like, as I say, with the Kilimanjaro thing. Suddenly they were no longer allowed to lift a suitcase for me, which left my partner having to do it, and it just left me in an awkward situation where I was trying to sort my life out to do this expedition with all these little extra barriers put in place, and it just felt very unfair. It's all led to me kind of having the feeling that all they want is for people to kind of sit in the house and not really do a lot. As soon as you try and sort of push the boundaries at all, it feels like you're made to sort of suffer for it. And I, as somebody who wants to enjoy life, wants to lead a full life, I don't want to be in that situation where I'm sat around not doing much. And I want to go and live my life to the full. And I think all disabled people should have that opportunity to be able to do that. I think almost bigger than the stuff that they were kind of putting on me, the thing that really was like the breaking point for me was the fact that they were kind of expecting my partner to do absolutely everything. They put a lot of pressure on her to kind of pick up the pieces of the poor care that they were offering, and make up for all the mistakes that the PAs were doing. It felt like the expectation was that she was my carer, which I think is completely wrong. To be in a sort of healthy relationship, you need to have things going two ways, and we should be allowed to have a normal relationship as any other couple would have. So I should be able to support her in the ways that she supports me, and vice versa. It should not be that just because I'm in a wheelchair that my partner has to do everything for me. It got to the point where the agency was suggesting she cooked her own separate dinners, and I wasn't allowed to make her a cup of tea even. And I even had to buy a machine that allowed me to be able to make a cup of tea for my partner because the carers were not wanting to do that. And it's just those little things that when they build up across days and years, it just becomes tiring, wearing, and it just takes all the energy out of you. My partner sort of effectively had to sort of curtail her own career and stop living the life she wanted to live just to be able to support me, and that's not a fair place to be and not a good place to be for either of us. And in the end, it ended up with like my mother and partner feeling like they had to disappear off every time I wanted to get the PAs to do anything for me. It was like they they would get accused that why aren't they doing it, even though that they were doing far more and like doing lots of stuff in between and never really getting a break. Whereas the carers were getting lots of breaks and having lots of time in between. But as soon as it was anything for me that my partner could be doing or my mother could be doing, it's like why are they not doing it? And it just gets really ridiculous, and that is not what I want from care. It's not what I see as care, and it's led to burnout all round from everyone in the family, and that's just not a good position to be in, and it's also why I've had to take a step back from everything in my life. If I did ever report issues, they were just swept under the carpet. There were some really serious issues that were going on. We had people using ableist language towards me. There was some sexist and racist behaviour going on in the house. One male carer was sexually inappropriate with my partner. I had a PA steal some medicine off me. And at one point I was left in a dangerous situation. And when I reported all these things, basically it was all just swept under the carpet and the PAs were just moved on to the next client. And it just felt like no matter what I did, I was just made out to be the difficult person, or me and my partner were made out to be the difficult people. In general, the stuff they let the carers get away with was just like laziness, sneakiness, really horrid behaviour. And I'd even argue the situation they left us in was kind of neglectful and actually amounted to bullying. One of the other real difficulties has just been trying to get some semblance of privacy in our lives. When we're living with somebody in our house the whole time, it already reduces the amount of privacy that you're going to get. But that was completely blown out of proportion by the agency, who were getting the carers to kind of pass on everything about us to the office. It felt like everything in our home lives was being monitored and we couldn't sort of just live a normal life together. I would say, like, in my opinion, it felt like we were living in some kind of like Orwellian state, like with Big Brother watching the whole time, and if we made a single mistake, that was it. We'd be in the doghouse again. We'd have any small argument reported on. We had things like my finances, private discussions with my partner about finances that would end up feeding back to the care agency. And at one point, they were even discussing our intimacy life. We were told by one carer that the agency would ask them leading questions and expect them to report back, and if they didn't report back, they would be treated less favourably by the agency. On top of this, everything that I was doing was monitored in an app on the carers' private phones. I felt like this was a complete invasion of my privacy. Everything I would do would be kind of logged in this app of theirs, and we were told this was sort of necessary to meet the care standards. However, when I talked to the Care Quality Commission, they told us that this was not necessary at all, and that it was basically bending the rules to do something that was overkill. We had one carer that started turning up to events that I was going to with my partner. Say if I went on a date, suddenly they'd be showing up to the same place. It felt like a complete invasion of our privacy beyond what we were already facing at home, and it felt almost like we were being stalked. Beyond the stuff the carers were doing, the agency was sort of just making my life difficult, even in terms of like organising my care. They tried to send me people that I already said I didn't want to work with, and for example, they knew that I didn't want male carers because of the way that one of them had acted around my partner. I felt like I didn't feel safe with having male carers around my partner anymore, but yet they still tried to sort of send me male carers, and at times they actually did. They would also leave at really late notice to confirm who I was going to get, so I didn't really have much option in sort of just accepting what I was to be given. All of this behaviour to us was despite the fact that we were giving the carers extremely long breaks, we were working them under the hours that they were contracted to, and we were just bending over backwards in general just to try and make their lives easier. Many of them spent a lot of their time just either sleeping or playing games on their phone. Some of them get into extremely high levels. I don't think this would be an issue if they were doing their job correctly, but when you're feeling like you're having to curtail your life and then see them sat there under their hours, sleeping, playing games, it just feels very frustrating and just wrong, and it's not how it should be. And when I tried to push back on this, it's just, again, I'm made out to be the difficult one, and I'm made out to be like I've caused the problems. I feel like, considering the amount of money that gets paid to these companies, it just is really disgusting. I feel even more let down by the company I was with, just because the person who runs it is actually a person with a spinal injury like myself. So I thought he'd have my back, but it just felt like, in the end, it was the same old story, and that not turned out to be the case. They advertise themselves as allowing full independence, however that was just not the case from my experience. The problems we've been facing have really been going on for the best part of 9 years. However, they've just been getting bigger and bigger, and in the end it just got too much, and it just started affecting our lives far more than it ever should. Recently, I have managed to go private with my care. I'm hoping things will improve. However, it is going to be a long journey. There are going to be hiccups along the way, and it's going to be filled with a lot of its own challenges. Going private in itself was a very long and arduous process. So again, it was another reason I've had to sort of take a step back to get that all organised, and just take a step back from my activities and from YouTube and all the things that were bringing me joy in my life. But that said, I'm hoping to take this opportunity now that I've finally gone private to sort of start doing those things again, slowly but surely, so I won't be like doing them every week or anything, but just building back to a life I kind of want to have. So I'm going to be starting doing some YouTube videos, going to be starting to get back into wheelchair rugby, a bit of comedy and so on. But I think also one of the main things I want out of this is that I want my partner to be able to go live her life again, try and get a job, try and get on and just have something for herself, as that's not been the case for far too long. That's all I kind of really wanted to say today. I feel like it's been quite a emotional topic to talk about, so I hope it doesn't come across as too heavy, but I feel it was something that was really important to me. I had to get it off my chest, and I really needed to say my piece about some of the things I've been facing, some of the real difficulties and challenges of having a high-level spinal cord injury, not just for myself, but the people around me that suffer, if not more than me. But hopefully we've got a new moment in our lives to kind of push forwards and try and start living the life I want to live and they want to live. But we will see how it goes. I look forward to giving you some more sort of fun and entertaining videos coming forwards. But for now, that's all I wanted to say. So thank you very much. Bye.